Hey everyone, and welcome to Novel Gaming.
I'm Vicki.
I'm Doug.
And I'm Katie.
And today we're talking monsters, and because there are so many good baddies to choose from, we used a couple different questions to help us make our picks.
The three questions or three things that we'll kind of be addressing are monsters that we want to be friends with, monsters that freak us out, and then a monster of your choosing for whatever reason you want to choose them. So those are the questions or the kind of themes we were thinking about, and we'll do our classic round robin style.
Yeah, monsters!
Yeah, monsters.
Oh.
So, Vicki, you wanna, we're starting with, I think, my favorite category, because it was the most fun to think about. Monsters we want to be friends with.
Yeah, sure. And this was, when we do some of these, it takes me a long time to find like who I want to talk about, but for some reason monsters I didn't have an issue. The monster I want to be friends with, and this is so true, the World Serpent from the God of War 2018. So the World Serpent, his formal name is Jormungandr, but it's Norse mythology, so it theoretically is going to be an ally to Kratos and Atreus when Ragnarok comes, which is the next game, to fight Thor. That's like the Norse history behind it. But the World Serpent just like literally comes up out of nowhere. It's such a surprise.
So big.
Monster. Yeah, like is a part of the environment the whole time, but you don't really realize this is going to be a giant ass snake. But it's beautiful and like kind of fun and kind of friendly, and it's I don't know, cool. I loved it the second I saw it on screen, and I wanted more of it after you kind of finished that little area. So I'm hopeful for game 2 that I get more World Serpent. Doug, who do you want to be friends with?
The list.
So, I know the list, right? I did a stupid thing that entertained me greatly.
I love when you do. I feel like you always, whenever we do this, you like do things that I never expect and go hard. I'm so excited.
The thing I thought of immediately when I thought of my favorite video game monsters was Castlevania Symphony of the Night, one of my favorite games. And so I chose all of my answers today from the bestiary of Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
Cool.
But the question here, a monster I want to be friends with. This is a monster called Shmoo.
Oh, I love that name.
It sounds like a friend, right?
Yeah.
Looks like a friend too. It's a severed head
God.
that floats around, has kind of silly eyes, and just, drops ramen and potentially god swords when you slay it. So what better friend to have around than someone who can give you ramen and a god sword?
A question, where does the head keep the ramen and god sword?
Oh, don't ask that question. You'll never be friends with it if you ask such personal questions.
That's true. Excuse my intrusion.
Shmoo forgives, luckily, because it is a friend. So I would love to be friends with Shmoo, the floating dismembered head with ramen and god swords for all. What about you, Katie? What monster would you be friends with?
So the first one that came to mind also could potentially give you ramen, but not from killing it. So I really like this game on Switch. It's called Battle Chef Brigade. It's a game that's kind of a brawler, so you beat up things, and then you do kind of a match puzzle game to then cook them.
It's really cool.
It is really cool. Yeah. There is a character in this game called Thrash. And Thrash has a badass name, and he looks like he would be so scary. But his nickname in the game is called the Benevolent Berserker. So he's actually like a sweetie. He's like a husband and a dad, and he's pretty kind. And you meet him pretty early on in the game. And I just want to be friends with him because one, he probably cooks bomb-ass food because he's in this chef competition. And he looks cool and is also really kind. So Thrash, will you be my monster friend? And Thrash would say yes, because Thrash is nice. So let's talk in less friendly terms. So what video games monsters freak you out, Vicki?
Yeah, no, this is not one I want to be friends with at all.
Not a friend.
So we've been playing a lot of Left 4 Dead on Xbox
Oh,
360.
Nice. Yeah.
So it's a zombie shoot 'em up game. And in most of the levels, there is a specific zombie called the Witch.
Oh, yes, Vicki.
At some point in a level, you kind of hear wailing, like, oh, 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 and you know she's nearby. And we find it best to just run away. But if,
avoid.
Benevolent Berserker over here, I like to engage, and I don't like to leave, any zombies alive. So you can kill her. However, if she gets to you, you are dead. It's a one-hit kill.
Yeah.
Well, Doug, I'm particularly curious to hear who freaks you out.
No one.
Yeah.
Yes. No. This is definitely one.
Uh-oh.
It is called Grand Falloon in the English versions, and it's called Legion in Japanese.
Wow, Legion is such a cooler name.
Way cooler name than Grand Falloon. Grand Falloon doesn't sound spooky at all. Legion sounds threatening. So this is a boss in the catacombs area of the castle. Yep. And it at its core is like this weird little monster with like tentacles and stuff, but the way that you actually see it and fight it is that it is a massive floating ball of bodies.
Oh.
What?
So it just looks like a huge ball of like naked bodies. It's so weird. So then as you fight it, the bodies fall off of the ball and then attack you.
Oh no.
So you have to hit it in order to defeat it, but then like these gross dead naked bodies then start attacking you. And then on top of that, just to make it especially gross, it also has maggots.
No.
So it's the worst. What about you, Katie? What video game monsters legitimately freaked you out?
It also is a zombie, but it's from The Last of Us.
Mm.
So you could probably guess the one type of zombie that I will talk about. And it's clickers.
Yeah. Clickers. If I weren't doing a themed thing, like it absolutely would have been top of my list.
Yeah.
Monster from video game that genuinely scares me.
Yeah. They're terrifying. So not only, they look scary. So the fungus has gotten to the point where it's like covers most of their head. So their face is like very distorted, very no longer human looking. But the thing that I feel like is more terrifying is like the sound and behavior of the clickers. So they're like the clickers. I'm not gonna even try to imitate it because it freaks me out so much. But sometimes imagine kind of a groaning screen door closing or opening.
Oh, that's a good way to put it.
So they like click around to try and hear you. You make a noise. They try and find you, and then they tear open your throat. Well, I'm excited to hear about our wild cards and what we chose and why we chose them. So, Vicki, what's your wild card?
This baddie is from Kingdom Hearts 1. This is a weird one because they are a monster to me. So that's how I'm defining this. So once you beat the game, you go back and there are, I think, 4 secret bosses that you play. These bosses are so difficult that it's really stopped me.
Oh no.
One in particular has haunted me forever. It is Sephiroth.
Oh, from Final Fantasy?
Yes. You have to beat the Colosseum, but then he's like the final boss once the game is over. And literally, so I'm going to sing again.
Oh, yes.
You get in the arena and it goes, da 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 da, Sephiroth! And he just flies around in a circle, and they just chant that music over and over again. And the damn thing just like stabs you with his blade, and you cannot win. I mean, I know people win, but you cannot win. So
wow, and you have to listen to people chanting his name at you.
So, different kind of monster, but still a monster to me.
That counts. Yeah, that counts.
Doug, who's your wild card?
Oh, it's so hard to choose. But the one I decided to highlight is actually, I haven't been able to personally experience, unfortunately, because Castlevania Symphony of the Night had, like, I guess, Sega Saturn exclusive content. And I feel so cheated because in that version of the game, there's a monster called Human Face Tree. Which is not just a tree that has a human face. No, this is a tree with a human face that grows fruit that also all have human faces.
Oh, no.
And it's just smiling like the day is the best it's ever had.
Aww.
It is based on some sort of, I believe, Japanese spirit or story, which is interesting to me because Executor, the Pokemon, is kind of just a tree with a bunch of fruit that have faces.
Oh my gosh, it's Human Face Tree.
So I feel like maybe Executor and Human Face Tree might be of the same origin.
I knew nothing about Castlevania.
So what about yours, Katie? What category did you choose and what monster did you fill it with?
Yeah, I just kind of went for a monster that I think is just cool.
Hell yeah.
I enjoy them. So The Witcher is a game all about hunting monsters. And it's a griffin. It's like a bird lion thing. And so it's this big flying monster that in The Witcher 3 is actually the first monster contract you get. And so it's really cool because it kind of sets the stage for the game. And there are other griffins throughout. Like there's different types of griffins in the game and all that kind of stuff. But it's just such a cool monster. And I just enjoy getting beaten up by it. And it feels weird to say I enjoy killing it because that feels weird. But I enjoy fighting with it. I mean, obviously I always have to win in order to progress in the game. What a monstrously cool discussion we just had.
Yeah.
If you'd like to tell us your beastly buds, drop us a comment below.
And if you want even more of the gory details, you can find a much longer version on our podcast episode that's linked in the description below.
Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.